Hey, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com. It looks like the X1 credit card really is going to start rolling out this week. And if you don't remember what it is, we'll talk about it in this video. But first, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already. And if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So it's kind of funny because over the last few weeks, I've been thinking to myself, whatever happened to the X1 card? I need to do a video saying, whatever happened to the X1 card? And I swear I was just about to do that video and talk very skeptically about the fact that I didn't think they were ever going to come out with a card, and it just so happens on the day that I am getting ready to do it, they come out with the announcement, hey, we're going to start rolling out the X1 card this week to our long wait list. So if you don't remember, last year in September, so about 13 months ago, there was sort of a big fanfare about this X1 credit card that was going to have all these interesting features. They were calling it the smartest credit card ever made. And after, talking about how great it was going to be, stainless steel and all this stuff, kind of just went silent. And then back in January, they did make an announcement that they had some new investment rounds, and so there's going to be a lot more money put behind it to keep the card rolling, but then nothing. So we went from January to October with really nothing said about the X1 card, and as I was starting to think this isn't even going to happen, well, it looks like it's happening. So over the last year, the X1 card has been being beta tested with a certain small group of people that have been using the card and obviously giving their feedback, and the company has been seeing, how to run a credit card operation probably to a certain extent. Now, we don't know how many beta testers there were, how many people have been testing it out for the last year, and we don't know how many people are going to be potentially able to get this card when it starts to roll out to their wait list, because their wait list is supposedly over 350,000 people. So whether 1,000 people are going to get a shot at it or whether 100,000 people are going to get a shot at it in the short term, we don't know. But the promise behind the X1 card when it was first announced, well, there are many promises, but sort of the target for this card was people that maybe don't have a credit history, maybe they're new to credit, or maybe they've got a little bit of credit history, but they have had trouble getting decent credit lines because they haven't had a credit history in the past. So this card is saying, hey, we aren't going to look at your credit history. We're going to look at your income now. We are going to look at sort of the promise of your income in the future in terms of making an approval decision on this card. And we can give you credit lines perhaps as much as 5 times more than sort of the traditional credit card companies would give you. Now, what this sort of suggests is the target market is not just anybody that hasn't had a credit card before or only has had 1 or 2 credit cards. It is for people that maybe don't have a lot of credit history, but they have a good amount of income, and whatever job they have now promises that that income is going to go up even higher. All right, so let's look at the basics of the X1 card, and then we will also look at some of the extra features that X1 would like you to think are very special in today's credit card market. Some of them are, some of them not so much. But anyway, the basics. A no annual fee card. That gives you, in terms of rewards, 2 points per dollar on everything that you purchase with the card. Now, if in a year you spend over $15,000 with the card, you would actually get 3 points per dollar on all of your purchases. And my understanding is that 3 points per dollar would be retroactive to the beginning of that year, so you'd get that 3 points on those first $15,000 as well as everything else. There is sort of a little extra gimmick, in my opinion, here, where you can also get 4 points per dollar in a given month if you refer someone else to the X1 card and they are approved. But for the most part, you should think of it as either a 2 points per dollar card or a 3 points per dollar card if you are going to spend a lot on the card in a year. Now, those points that you get are worth a penny a piece. However, you can only redeem them for purchases that you have made from a list of, I guess they're partner retailers of X1. There's a fairly long list, including Apple, Airbnb, Delta, Southwest, Nike, Sephora, and there are a lot of other ones on their list as well. You can use your points against purchases that you have made on the card at those particular retailers. So for example, if you had 20,000 points on your X1 card and you had made a $200 purchase from Southwest Southwest on a flight, you could take those 20,000 points and use it against that $200 purchase that you had made there. So you can't get cash back from the card, but you can use it against any of the purchases you make at these partner retailers. As far as we know at this point, no bonus for new card holders. So you're not going to get any kind of 150 or 200 bucks or anything like that on the front end. If you spend a certain amount, it is really those everyday daily rewards that you are looking at if you are, interested in rewards. All right, so let's look at some of those extra features that X1 was touting when they first announced the card back in 2020, and they were trying to build up that mailing list. These are sort of in no particular order. Some of them are, this is nice to have and kind of cool, and other ones are a little more impactful in terms of how you would use the card. The first one in the this is pretty cool is the fact that it is a metal card, stainless steel, very attractive card, a little weightier. If that is something that matters to you, feels good to throw down a card like that and have a satisfying sound as it hits the desk versus a cheap plastic credit card, well then that is something you would appreciate about this card. Now, something that is maybe a little more impactful about the card is that because X1 is using your current and potential future income as sort of the basis for deciding on your application, they're only doing a soft pull on your existing credit report if you have an existing credit report. So if that is something that matters to you, normally if you get a new credit card, they would do a hard pull, and that would hurt your credit score a little bit. If a soft pull is done, they look at your credit, but they're not doing a hard pull and reporting to the credit reporting agencies that you are going after new credit. So if every point matters to you on your credit score, well then having a soft pull credit card is better than having a hard pull that would hurt your credit score a little bit. If you are approved for the X1 card, you would potentially be able to use that card immediately, even before you had it in your hand. So you could use it through things like Apple Pay, you could use it online, and then you could also use it with what they are calling virtual account numbers, and other credit cards do this as well. A virtual account number allows you to have your real account number, but then you have sort of a disguise. The virtual account number is a temporary account number that you can use at certain merchants or at any merchants, and when they make that transaction, they're going to use that temporary account number, and then it kind of goes away, and they never see your real account number. And the benefit to this is, number one, it's sort of an anti-fraud thing, because the credit card number is going to go away. That virtual account number, well then obviously it can't be used over and over again. So if somebody copied down that virtual account number, they wouldn't be able to use it elsewhere. Also, with the virtual account number, one of the things that you can do is you could use it for things like short-term offers where you want to test something out, but you don't want to be charged at the end of a certain period, right? So you got a trial offer where they're going to give you 3 months free, and then they're going to start charging you $9.99 per month. If you use a virtual account number, well then what you can do is you can use that to start that free trial, but then you could cut off that virtual card number and they would never know your real credit card number, and so they couldn't start charging your card beyond that point. So you'd have the ability to do that through X1's app and through, the account that you would have through X1. So some interesting stuff going on there. This card has no foreign transaction fees, so you could use it outside of the United States. It is a Visa signature card, which has some extra benefits attached to it. The specifics of what this card is offering within sort of the Visa signature suite of benefits is not totally apparent at this point, but you can imagine there's going to be some extras here, whether that's travel benefits or it's some purchase protection or whatever. So some interesting stuff happening even beyond the rewards. So I think the X1 card sounds pretty good, especially if using the points that you would earn on this card at those particular retailers that are on their list is fine with you. If you don't care if you're getting cash back or whatever, and you just want to use your points against purchases you would make with the card, well then you could get a pretty good multiple here, especially if you spend over $15K in a year. It's essentially like a 3% credit card. The piece that I want to kind of hammer away at here is that in all the messaging sort of around the X1 card, it very much is talking about people that are new to credit or newer to credit, but they very much are also talking about the fact that they're looking at your current income and looking at future income and talking about those larger credit lines that they might be giving out. There's an article in Wired magazine that also came out along with the announcement of the card starting to roll out today, and it is sort of telling that the two examples they used of the beta testers of this card, one of them an engineer at Amazon, the other an account manager at Google. So both of those suggest what they are looking for are pretty good incomes from younger people that are fairly well educated and probably are going to make even more money in the future. So they have a 350,000 person waiting list, but my question would be, how many of those people are they actually going to approve? If you have sort of a middle income, say you're making $40,000 or $50,000 and it doesn't really look like your income's going to go up a whole lot over the next 5 to 10 years, are you in X1's wheelhouse or are you not someone that they are interested in? So that is going to be pretty interesting, because if you're somebody that just doesn't have much of a credit history but you're not making a whole lot of money, X1 might not be interested in you. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this initial rollout. When the card was first announced back in September of 2020, I put myself on the waiting list. At the time, I was like number 9,206 or something like that. Since then, I've actually fallen further down the waiting list because they had a mechanism where people could jump up higher on the waiting list if they referred other people to the waiting list. So I'm now over 10,000. Will they get to 10,000 plus in terms of the number of potential people that can apply for the card? I don't know. We will see what happens, but that's actually sort of an interesting place to be, because 10,000 is kind of a lot, but it's not, the same as 100,000. So I'm on that list and I will see if I get any sort of offer this week to actually apply for the card. If I do, I will let you know if I got that offer, and I don't know if I'll apply for the card or not, but if I do, I will let you know that as well. Otherwise, I would love to hear your thoughts about this card and about the rollout. Are you excited? Do you think that you are someone that could qualify for it? Put all your comments in that comments section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching. And as always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thank you for watching. Bye.